Thank you very much. My name is Andrew Machen, and I am here representing the Data Engineering, Analytics, and Automation Group at American Airlines and IT. Um, I have been working for American Airlines for almost 11 years now, and I am responsible for data ops strategy. And, as a group, we are so happy to talk to you a little bit about the journey that we are on. It is not the end of a journey, it's not the start of a journey either, um, but it's hopefully going to be something that inspires some of you to get started in some of the things that we have done if you're curious about how to get started and a little bit of what we've done well and where we think we could have done better. So let's get into American, just in case you haven't heard of the company. I think the most important thing for you to understand is our why. It's very important to us. We care for people on life's journey. It's an extremely important part of the culture, and it's what makes the company worth working for, if you ask me. Um, is that's what runs all of us here. It makes it such a great place. More specifically, if you have traveled with us or you haven't, we are the largest commercial airline in the world. We operate out of nearly 350 destinations and more than 50 countries around the world. And we are part of the One World Network. And you can see some of our partners on the right hand of your screen. So let's talk about data. Let's talk about data and running an airline. So how do you run an airline well? That's a pretty loaded question. But let's talk about one thing. If you want to run an airline well, you have to start the day on time. So what does starting the day on time look like for an airline? It means getting one first round of flights at any airport that you're running out of, especially your hub airports, all out on time. They have to board on time. They have to push away from the gate on time. They have to take off on time. If you do those things for the first bank of flights that you have, then you're probably going to run a fairly successful day in an airline. And then you run that for 24 hours and it all starts over again. And so what do you think it takes to do this? Well, obviously you need to have data for the people on the front lines to be able to make tactical decisions. That data needs to be correct. It needs to be there hours before takeoff, normally 4 a.m. local time. The architecture has to be able to handle changes. We need to be able to deliver data dynamically. Let's say if a lot of wheelchairs are requested. We need our partners to know that those wheelchairs have been requested so that they can get to the people that they need to service so that we can get those planes out on time and your customers can get cared for in the right way. And let's say things don't go so well. Well, at the end of the day, we need to get that data into the hands of the analyst as quickly as we possibly can so that they can look at ways that we can improve and change strategy. And so there's a lot more to it. But, those are the things that we need to do. And, so we embarked about 3 years ago on making all of this faster. Now, the world had a little bit of something to say about, maybe they thought that we were just a little bit too good at our jobs, but wanted to make the challenge a little bit more fun. And so we started all this, most of these things at the beginning of 2020. And so, as you all know, if you look at your pictures on the right-hand side of your screen, you can see what the face of working at an airline, especially American Airlines in 2020 probably looked like, and beyond, right? A lot of people wearing masks, a lot of people cleaning planes to make sure that things are going well. Those cleaning systems didn't exist, before the challenges that we went through. And all while we were doing this, we moved all of our systems to the cloud. We were creating frameworks for data ingestion and data consumption. We had to create user experiences for these things, because the rest of the DevOps community, didn't have this knowledge. So we needed to make it easy. We needed to get catalog and governance off the ground. That was very important. We needed to make do with what we had. I mean, I think everybody can sympathize with that, right? Um, in the face of the challenges that we had to go faster with fewer people. And I am proud to say that I think we've done it. You know, just it's been pretty amazing what our teams have delivered in this amount of time. But we did all of these things. We brought everything to the cloud, and we're working to make it faster, and we've done all of these amazing things. So it's done, but not really. So after 2 years, we stopped and we wanted to think about where we were. We did all of these great things, but how are our customers rating us? So we took a survey. And while the numbers were largely positive, we did get a lot of great feedback. The data ingestion that we had, the ability to get data in was still slower than we needed. We needed ways to prove to our customers uh, that the data that we were bringing in was good data, that it was on time. We needed to give our customers the ability to rate their own data, uh, because ultimately, the data engineers shouldn't be responsible for that, in our opinion. This is a data owner challenge, and they want it. So we need to give that to them. We needed to take all of the slowness that we have, and we needed to turn that into either fixed issues or proper notifications to the right people who can talk to the people that they need to. If engineers need notifications, but data owners need notifications. They need to be able to talk to their stakeholders, certainly at 3 or 4 a.m. local time, to let them know what kind of decisions they can make with the data that we have. And then we are building self-service, but the truth is, when we look at the velocity of what our teams can develop, we need those self-service portals to work. Because if they don't work, then the data engineers need to help. And if they're helping, then we can't push forward. The other piece that we talked about in our survey was that training wasn't exactly where we wanted to be in terms of serving our customers. We had built a lot of wiki pages, we had built a lot of videos, but our customers told us that they didn't like that when it came to first time instruction. At least most of them did. Some that were power users were fine with it. Um, but they wanted in-person training, and that's something that we started to work toward. And that led us to the conclusion that if we were going to make these changes, it couldn't be somebody's part-time job. And that's what it was, right? It was kind of a side job to do self-service portal. It was a side job to get some of these balls rolling, for security and governance. These are not things that we can run like that. And so, a little over a year ago, we started running the ball on some of these things, certainly catalog and governance, but we wanted to run it at a more strategic scale. And so we created a DataOps group. Now, in terms of what DataOps is, I am going to take the quick and dirty road toward explaining it. I think what we normally talk about is that DataOps is an extension of DevOps. It is meant for data engineers, data scientists, data analysts. We create the whys for ourselves. When we created a data ops steering committee, data ops guild, we've had those things running for several months now. And the thing that we came out with is we want to reduce the time from data need to data success. I think that sums it up perfectly. That came straight from our steering committee. And, the way that we're going to do that is we are going to identify the different personas that are operating in this environment. And there are several. And we're going to get them to lean in and join our discussions and, create paths of least resistance in the areas that you see in the graphic here in terms of integration, security, quality. We need people that are invested in this. And so that's what we did. The other thing that we did was that we talked to people. That's one of the reasons we're here today, is that we want to lean in even more and we want to help. largely because we need the help. We want to continue to learn. Um, and so that's why things like this are so important for us to all get together and talk to each other about the things that we're facing. So another thing that came out of our discussions was a concept of how we wanted to work with each other. Now, at American Airlines, we do a lot of pair development. Certainly, in the groups that I lead, we're doing a lot of pair development. And generally, what we have come up with is that if you look at the pyramid on your screen, we want two of these groups working together on a daily basis at all times. And we have found that generally it doesn't matter which two are working together on any given day, but you can have success if, and generally only if, two of these groups are working together. And so, the analysts and scientists are generally the ones that are going to make the flowers grow. They are accountable for providing the data, but everyone here plays a part. And so, there are some groups where the DevOps engineering teams are leaning in more on data engineering, and they actually want to take all of the work. And we allow that because we're not trying to build empires here. We're trying to create positive outcomes and serve our customers. In some cases, they want the data engineers to do most of the work, and we push back on that a little bit, because it's not possible for us to come up with the best possible solution if the analysts aren't involved. And then sometimes, the engineers from DevOps and DataOps can work together and create some great outcomes. And that's certainly how we kick things off. Our kickoff project has been going on for 2.5 years now. And it largely worked with mostly DevOps engineers and data engineers. And, I'm very proud of that. And that was something that ran out of the operations group at American Airlines, and we have really come up with some very impressive things, in my opinion. So that's how we want to operate. That's what we communicated out. The next thing that we did was we came up with what our strategic components are, the things that we are going to focus on when we talk about what DataOps is. And so, a lot of different groups have done different things. There's a lot of think tanks on this, but this is basically ours. Probably taken a bit from different areas, but this is what we're working on. Obviously, a big part of any XOps is going to be data pipelines. And that's why it's at the top of what we have now. We need to pipeline everything. We need our infrastructure to be pipelined. It needs to be self-serviced. We need to look at the tooling that we have constantly. We really have to know that the tools that we have chosen are the right ones. If they're allowing the different personas, different types of analysts, different types of engineers to work together well. We talked about notifications and alerts. They have to be on point. We have to know that they're going to the right groups. Data quality validation, is another thing that's very important. Are we using the right tools? Does it put the power into right hands? We've looked at some tools that put a lot of power into the engineers' hands. We think that a lot of that power needs to go into the analyst hands. They have the calculations to make things work. They need to be able to define things like bronze, silver, gold level data quality, if that's what you're going to call it in your organization. But that's an important thing for us. Cataloging governance is something that needs to be taken very, very seriously, and we do at American. And that's something that's got its own group at this point. And then workflow management and user experience. We need to provide windows into everything that we have. We need to let people know how things are going. And so all the things that you see here are subcommittees to our DataOps steering committee. And they have leaders that are running those items. And so that's where we are today. And like I said, I am not saying to you that this is a fairy tale ending. It is nothing of the sort. We are working hard to make this better every single day. But it's a pleasure to do so, working with the group. So let's talk a little bit about the things that we think we've done well. And so I think the first thing that we wanted to do, that we talked about before is, recognizing that we are servants as data engineers. And I think that was very important. Having the right people lean in and say, hey, look, we are here to make sure that data is there for the engineers and scientists. And, we want to do that well. That is our passion. Um, we needed to talk to people that are ahead of us on the curve. And I think we've done that for the most part. The other thing was recognizing how many different personas there are. So one of the key differences that I see between data ops and DevOps is the number of users that you deal with, the types of skill sets they have, specifically in the analyst community. For us, we have an analyst community, of thousands, and they all have slightly different skill sets. They all want different things, and we have to cater and serve those people in the way that they need to be served. It's not a prudent decision to try to turn that battleship, in a number of months. And I think that we can do it. And, I think we largely have been fairly successful with that so far. Obviously, creating the guild and steering committee early was very important for us. And then the other thing is that, the frameworks that we have created that we talked about before are fully intersourced. And we have been fairly successful in getting DevOps engineering teams to contribute to these communities. Um, and we've got a handful of groups right now that are contributing that have leaned in enough, on all of this data ingestion is important enough to them that they have made changes to the system. And that's exactly what we want. We want to serve as a path of least resistance, and we're looking for people to tell us that we're not doing it the right way. We're looking for that. We're looking for people to suggest and show us different ways to do things. And I think that's one of the biggest things that I think has gone very well for us in the last 3 years. There are a few things that we learned that we can definitely tell you. Um, this is not easy. If you're just starting on this, there's tools that you can buy to make it easier. But ultimately, starting at the bottom of the mountain, certainly with DevOps teams that haven't done this kind of data engineering work or looking to get into it, it can be daunting. And it certainly was for our kickoff teams and the data engineering teams that were working with them that we were all pairing together, uh, you know, and I think we worked together daily for the better part of 9 or 10 months straight. Um, but that's okay. This is worthy stuff. Um, I think we asked for help early, but we could have asked for help even earlier. And leveraging our partners has been extremely important in making sure that we're getting what we need. Certainly, leveraging the people that have the strengths to lead certain types of conversations, hackathons, value stream maps has been important. I will say this: the value stream maps that we have run, if your companies do that, they definitely needed to be modified a bit for this. I don't think it's impossible. We have run a couple of them for the data ops cycle, but just know that you will need to modify them. But give it a shot. Um, know when to say we need a break from the teams that push. This is something else. If you work for a large company, you may have technical excellence groups. So we certainly do at American, and they are very, very important to us. But know when to say, not right now. We would not be where we are without these people, and they're very valuable to us. But sometimes you need to say we need to take a break. And then the last piece was, I think when it comes to some of this stuff, I, I don't think that there's, I don't think that we could celebrate enough on some of the things that we did. I think that um, we were making so many strides so quickly, or really it was not very many strides for a couple of months. And then we would have these amazing things coming out every week or every 2 weeks. And I think that it's important to celebrate those things. whenever you can. And so that's up to now. And so finally, the last part here, let's talk a little bit about what's next for us. Just giving you guys a little bit of insight into something that you might want to do. We're starting to run what we're calling half-day hacks with food. We're starting at noon. We're catering, and we're bringing people in to take a look at the things that we've written and play with it, so that we can get the inner source community running even faster. We're doing it with tooling that we're considering investing in or partnering with, and getting a rounder opinion on if this is right for us. Um, Subcommittees are running through all of these things. The self-service that we have has grown. I don't think I can give the exact number, but it's in at least the hundreds of percent increase since even the beginning of the year. So our self-service is getting more and more usable, and will continue to do so for at least the next 2 years. Our notifications are really coming into play, and we're looking for as many API tie-ins as we can, so that in the words of my principal architect, we create the easy button for our users and our community. And so that's what's next for us. I'll leave you with one final slide, just in case you're looking. We do want to say that we're hiring. Please talk to me, andrew.machen@aa.com. We want amazing people that want amazing culture to support an amazing mission. We have a beautiful campus in Fort Worth, Texas, right next to DFW Airport. We've also got an office in Phoenix that you can work out of. We're looking for 2 to 3 days a week in the office. And, one of the most important things to us is that we're one of the best companies, if not the best company in the world to work for when it comes to diversity. That is very, very important to us. And so with that, I will say thank you very much for your attention and your time. I look forward to speaking with you. And that's it for us. Thank you.